and welcome once again to the podcast and YouTube channel of Jaden Zander. Tonight on The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander, two more stories contributed by our listeners will be featured. Without further ado, let us now present our host for tonight, Jaden.
Once again, a very good evening to all of you out there, and welcome to The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander. And I'm Jaden, your host for this podcast and YouTube channel. And tonight we have two more stories, but this time round they are contributed by our listeners who are very, very enthusiastic for me to present their stories to all of you. So let us go to the first story, which involves camping at Pulau Ubin. Well, the first story was sent to me by one of our listeners whose name is Eddie, and this is how his story goes. Well, Eddie and a few friends went to Pulau Ubin for a camping trip, and they actually targeted the rubber tree plantation area, which is now converted to a PA campsite, if I'm not mistaken. Well, they went there for about 4 days and 3 nights, and he was there with 6 of his friends, and they brought along their ration for this couple of days, like rice, they brought chicken, they brought Maggi, Milo, coffee, some oil, and pots and pans, as if like they are running away from home. Well, the first night they were there, everything was okay, and once they reached the location, they pitched their tent and they got their place ready for cooking, and they actually also recce the place to find the nearest source of water. And nearby the area, about 100 meters away, there is an abandoned, dilapidated house and a garage. And at the best part of that, there is a well nearby. So the part where it happened, the disturbance happened, it took place on the second night. Well, the second night, what this Eddie was trying to do, he was trying to set up a fire, actually, to start cooking, and also to get rid of all the mosquitoes flying around. And what he tried to set the fire up, but even with the Zippo oil and the dried leaves, he cannot get the fire to burn. And he tried a couple of times, with more Zippo fuel, but still nothing. And Eddie called over one of his friends to come and assist, to help him with the fire. Again, nothing happened. So what Eddie did was he was like telling his friend, something is not right that the fire is not starting and all, when suddenly a big stone dropped and fell in front of him, right in front of him. He was shocked. All right, and he thought his friends were like trying to play a prank on him, and the stone was as big as those at the water break at East Coast, or at Bedok Reservoir. So it's big enough, and if those stones were to hit someone on the head, it's gonna the person is gonna concuss. So what he did was like he after the stone fell in front of him, he and his friend stood up and went over to the others, and sat down with them. Well, the rest of the friends did ask them why did they not try to set fire, but they said they did, and Eddie told them about the big stone that fell in front of him, and the flame cannot start and all. And once after he said that, suddenly their surrounding went quiet. Even the sound of crickets went quiet. And after that, all of them, this is the scary part, okay? All of them heard the sound of someone crying coming from this abandoned, dilapidated house, which is not far away from them. And all of them were like, all six of them were like shocked. They were looking at each other, and one of his friends were already starting to recite the Quranic verses. And what they did was to sit close together. They were huddling together. They were scared, but they did not want to show that they were scared. The weird part, suddenly, the fire that they were that they tried to start earlier, suddenly there were flames coming up from there, and they felt that something were like running around the outer part of the campsite. They heard the crying, heard a faint sound of the crying, and it was said that if, let's say, if you hear a faint sound of a woman crying, that means that thing is nearby. So they were huddling together the whole night till morning, and once the sun came up, Eddie showed the stone to his friends, and the friends all were saying that, if this were to hit somebody, it's gonna be a crime scene there. And after that, they did look around the surrounding area of the campsite, and there were evidence that something were circling the campsite at night. But after that, according to Eddie, after the second night, the third night, and after that, there's nothing else. Nothing else happened to them. They stayed for the entire duration of the camping trip and made their way safely back home. So that is the first story, which involves a scary encounter while camping at Pulau Ubin. Well, that was a very scary story at Pulau Ubin. Well, I did. I went Pulau Ubin for camping before with a couple of friends many years ago, and I think we camped at Nordin, Kampung Nordin, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and that place was scary now also. And imagine there were like 7 of us, and all of us also huddled together, slept together at night under, yeah. So it was scary. So right now, let us go to the second story. And this second story was contributed by a listener by the name of Remy, and this involves him serving his national service, or BMT, at the Old Police Academy. I served my national service in the police, and back then I was undergoing my BMT at the Old Police Academy, and my squad were housed at Bravo Company. And it's like training was tough, like we have physical trainings, and we have academic classroom sessions also, so it takes a lot out of us, physically and mentally. And usually after training sessions, when we were back at the bunk, we will be totally engrossed in polishing our boots and studying for our tests and exams. So nothing has actually happened, but there is this particular night whereby something happened to me. This is the story. It's normal, it's like a normal day. After physical training, after class, we went back to dormitory, and as you know, lights off normally is at 10:30. And after going through, polishing of the boots and chatting with friends, my squad mate and all, once lights off, we have to sleep. And I went to bed. So a couple of hours went by, and I suddenly I felt that somebody was sitting on my bed, at the foot of my bed actually. And I was sleepy, I was tired, and I was a bit groggy. So I tried opening my eyes, and this is the scary part. Once I opened my eyes, I saw at the foot of my bed there is this female, this girl sitting down on my bed. She was in white actually, and she had long hair. And the best part is that she was facing away from me. She was facing away and staring towards my friend who was sitting on the opposite side. And I was shocked. The room was dark, but I can actually see from the lights that came in from the corridor. I saw her and I was shocked. What I did next was, I do not want to create a ruckus, so what I did was I pulled up the blanket. I was shivering. I pulled up the blanket, I covered my eyes, covered my face. I also took the pillow and covered my face. I was that scared, and I tried to force myself to sleep. Of course I can't. But I said my prayers and all, and after a while, because I was too tired, I fell asleep. And the next morning, I told my squad mate what happened, and some of them said that they felt uneasy on that particular night also, but nothing happened to them, and maybe I was the unlucky one and was the chosen one to be disturbed by the being who sat at the edge of my bed. And those are the two stories contributed by our listeners for tonight. I would like to thank Eddie and Rainy for submitting their stories to me. And to all of you out there, if you have any more stories, please do email me at the email address at the comment section. So do subscribe and like, share, and comment if you have any suggestions or any more stories for me. Alright, so till then, you take care, be good, and I shall see you again next week.